Welcome to the Ask an Aggie podcast, where we are exploring the ins and outs of college life here in College Station. We want you to have the best college experience you can, so listen in as we dive into relevant topics that will help you navigate this new and exciting stage of life. Well, hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Ask an Aggie podcast. As always, you got Asher here. We're sitting with Jordan.
Yep, and we're jumping back in. It's just the two of us. It's not as much fun. But
Yeah, no guest to be the mediation, kind of the middle ground.
Sure, but I think we have an important topic to discuss. It's really a big question that everybody asks, and nobody really knows the right answer to.
So Dulce from Houston asks, jobs, would you recommend them? And if yes, which jobs would you guys recommend? So we're just going to kind of split this into two parts. Yeah. And first, I'm just going to ask you, Jordan, in your experience, would this be a good idea? And what kind of has been your experience with this? So just to start off, when you were in college, did you work?
Yeah, so I have worked since 15 or 16, and I had a cush job, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I worked at an after-school program at the elementary school. I got to play football with first and second graders, and my best friends from high school and college were also there, and so we picked teams every day and played football, baseball, basketball, whatever. But I worked all the way through. So I worked there, and it was great. It was every day of the week for 2.5 hours in the evening, and it gave me just kind of some spending money and all that.
So this wasn't something that you relied on?
No. So I thankfully, my parents, they were committed to helping pay for college, and so I was responsible for paying like bills. They took care of rent and that, but I took care of like bills and then any like food I ate out. And so the job really did not make me. It gave me my own money, and I didn't feel like I was burdening them. But I would also say, like, it just helped me, like, learn how to balance responsibility.
Yeah.
Because you were working with people that weren't just your age.
That's true.
So, you had to balance, okay, how do I interact with these different people? For me, it was parents or a first grader or a 50-year-old that was my boss. And so, just kind of working through all those things was fun.
So would you recommend working?
Yeah, so... Very general question.
Yeah.
I think it's very individually specific. So if you are a student who is maybe struggled in high school or academics is just not your thing, or your major is going to be really demanding, then I would not, at least right away. I would go into, or I would not have the idea of I'm going to work 20 to 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
If you feel like, okay, I can handle it, take a job where you're working 10 to 15 hours. Now, all of this is said to a student who has the luxury to work or not to work.
Yeah.
I think we understand, and we have friends who that's not a luxury everyone has.
Yeah, for sure.
And so for some of you, if you go, I have to work because I'm putting my way through school, I am needing to pay my rent, the dorm is expensive, grants and loans only go so far. What I would say is don't feel the pressure of 4 years then. So if you need to work, then don't put the same expectation on yourself as your friend who takes 12 hours and who doesn't have any other responsibility. So know your situation.
That's good.
And what's best for your family.
Yeah. So you're saying that if I need to take 12 hours instead of 15 hours a semester,
yes,
that's okay.
That is perfectly okay. But if you also are a student that goes, I can take 17, I'm not going to work, my parents won't let me work, then don't be lazy with your school unnecessarily. And so know your situation. Should I get a job? The big question you're asking there is, it is possible to have a job.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It is possible with decent study habits and time management. You should be able to work 15 to 20 hours a week. Fine.
Yeah.
That should not be impossible necessarily for anybody to handle. It's when you go above that that it becomes more difficult.
Well, and then you have to pick and choose as well. So for me, 20 hours of work with what I'm involved in outside, extracurricular, there is a give and take.
It's what experience do you want? So, both of us have the luxury to get to pick our experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll have students that will come in even into our studio that don't get that
Yeah.
luxury.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, um, if you have to work 30 hours a week, that's okay.
Yeah.
You can still have a great college
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely.
You're still going to be able to succeed. You can still get your schoolwork done.
Yeah.
But just don't compare yourself
Yeah,
constantly,
that's good.
unnecessarily.
Yeah. So now she also said, which jobs do you recommend?
Sure. And I shared, I didn't work on campus jobs ever.
Yeah.
So I had friends that worked as a student worker, and we're going to ask you a little bit of how to get to
Yeah.
that. But you can always go HEB, fantastic place to work.
Yeah.
That's going to look good on your resume too. Because people love HEB here in Texas, I've learned. But there's jobs here in town. Our city depends on
College
student
workers.
workers.
Yeah.
And so go and find something that you think you would enjoy. So we have students that work in maintenance with apartment companies.
Yeah.
We have students that work at HEB. We have people that have picked up graphic design jobs. We've got the gamut
Yeah.
of things. But find something you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Or at least pays well.
Yeah.
And so
it's work for a reason.
Yeah. Like get it done
Yeah.
and get some money and know really what you need. And then don't feel overwhelming pressure beyond that.
Yeah, for sure. So just to get into some of the opportunities and some of the things College Station specific. So some ideas, jobs that we would recommend. The student worker, like you mentioned, is a great option.
And explain that a student worker, what is that exactly?
Yeah, so it's someone who's going to be working at A&M or for the university. And so that means that, A&M is technically their employer. And so they might be working at an office on campus. They might be a TA, a teacher's assistant.
Sure.
There's so many opportunities to work for the university.
And what's great about that is, especially if you're a freshman coming in, it's on campus.
It's on campus.
You can walk to work. You can keep that job for
as long as
as long as they keep it and you do a good job. And so you don't have to waste any time driving off campus, going and finding parking.
It's great too because they offer them at that 10 to 15 hour range as well.
Yeah.
They're not going to be overwhelming. They work with you. They're flexible because they know like you work for the institution that you're balancing your schedule with, which even sets you up for priority scheduling.
I was going to say, do you get
like you?
There's a benefit.
I think student workers register before seniors. So if you're a freshman and you were a student worker, like you're registering before I would.
And we know of students. You've had a student work in production stuff. We've had a student work in transportation, in offices.
The rec sports. Rec sports, I looked it up. They employ nearly 1,000 people.
Holy cow.
1,000 students.
Yeah.
Bus drivers.
Bus driving pays well.
That's the highest paying job on campus.
Yeah. And you set your schedule. You pick your routes.
Yeah.
And once again, you just walk over to the job. But really, if you have any interest in any of these fields,
absolutely.
get involved in it. Hospitality management. I mean, there's jobs
there's
in these
stuff
areas.
And so, and then just as far as the job search goes, A&M is helpful with that too. Whether you're looking for on campus or not, the Career Center offers things, and that's careercenter.tamu.edu, as well as Jobs for Aggies. And so Jobs for Aggies, what they do is you can just go onto their website and click like, I'm looking for a part-time job. Because different businesses in town will go in
right
so
this
next
is
to
beyond
that.
A&M.
Yeah, right next to that, it's I would like to post a job.
Okay.
And so you find it through the university. And then even something that I've done is each semester there's a part-time job career fair where you go in to the ballroom in the MSC and there are tons of companies.
Yeah.
I talked to everyone from a trampoline park to a real estate investment like management company.
And are most of them local, I guess?
Yeah, they're local, and they're flexible. They're looking for student workers.
Cool.
And that's just a great way. That's probably what I would say is the ideal way, because you can go bring your resume. And this happens the first couple weeks of school. You bring your resume, you talk to people, you get your face in there, which is really key for looking for a part-time job, especially when they're getting so many applicants.
Sure, yeah, because Indeed or whatever, just random.
They're never
thing.
going to see your face, and so they don't feel bad.
So meeting them, shaking their hands, or fist bumping, I guess, right now.
But but there, as we can see, like there's opportunities. And you are capable of doing them. As a student, you can work. And some of us have to.
Sure.
And so we would definitely just encourage you that this is an attainable thing. This is helpful, and really it helps you prepare for the future.
Yeah, the biggest thing, because here I'm the adult, so I want to speak on that kind of side of it. Some people your parents are going to say, "Hey, I don't want you to have a job." And one, I would honor that if you're okay with it, you know what I mean? Or have that discussion and go, "Hey, can we talk about this?" For a lot of people, maybe their first semester is not the best time to get a job. And you hear that a lot. I bet you've had friends where they kind of get through their first semester, they realize, can I handle it? And then you can kind of go, okay, I'm going to do this. But once again, and we talk about this all the time, don't feel these expectations that I am failing to pass the level in life right now. If you can survive and handle it, then do that, and then look into all of these opportunities and find something you enjoy. Go and work for the radio station. We've had so many people go, "Hey, I'd love to be a part of this podcast." Like, go and find different ways to do things in places that you're interested in that A&M is already doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's helpful. And Dulce, I hope we've answered your question. But guys, thank you for listening in to this episode of the Ask an Aggie podcast. We'd really appreciate it if you would like the video, comment. We want to know how we're doing. So if you have feedback, we'd love to hear it. And if you guys have questions that you want us to answer, just look us up on askanaggie.com, and we have a form that you can fill out there. We'll catch you next time.